email thing? No, I can't get in my email. That's the one.
Oh, seriously? I did it like 3 days late.
Good evening. We do not have a member of the Minister Alliance with us this evening, so we will stand for a moment of silence. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call the July 10th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Here.
Rachel Kilmer,
Here.
Jim Shrout,
Here.
Pam Pope,
Here.
Kelly Netto,
That's the one. I'm here.
Tracy Newcomer,
Here.
and Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business deletions or continuances. We do not have any of those this evening, so we will move on to public comments. Do we have any?
There are none.
There are no public comments. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the board can approve the items by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the June 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes and expenditures through July 5th, 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 23-22 regarding an ordinance approving a surface maintenance agreement with the City of Oak Grove, Missouri, and MoDOT, and authorizing the mayor to execute. Is that you, Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So yes, before the board tonight is an agreement with MoDOT to resurface Broadway from 11th Street south to 13th Street. This includes both the drive lanes and the parking areas. Resurfacing of these areas by MoDOT is contingent that the city agrees to maintain the parking areas only going forward. So the attached agreement states that the commission or MoDOT will resurface both the drive lanes and the parking areas once that project is completed and we accept their work. Then going forward in the future, once that area needs to be crack sealed or resurfaced, the city will be responsible for maintaining just the parking areas in downtown. MoDOT will still be responsible for the drive lanes and turn lanes.
Thank you, Matt.
Sorry. By parking, you mean the, like, parallel parking spots directly in front of businesses?
Correct, yes.
So they're gonna just take care of this part, but we have to take care of the part directly conjunction next to it?
Yeah. So we've had multiple conversations with MoDOT over the need for downtown to be resurfaced.
Is that not, do they not have to take care of the road, or they just want to seal it? I mean, is it their responsibility?
It is their responsibility. It's their right of way. It is their responsibility. I suppose maybe it's a small project for MoDOT in the scheme of things. It's about 900 feet long. Whether or not they would maintain it sooner, just the drive lanes without this agreement, it's possible. I will say that initially they said they would not maintain the parking lanes. Then they said they would only if the city paid for it. Our position was that it's a failing asset as it is. We wouldn't want to take over something that had to be maintained immediately. Then they said, well, there's no funding available to do downtown Oak Grove anytime soon.
Sorry, that was probably loud.
They recently came back and said that they possibly could get us on the schedule with a contractor to get it overlaid soon, but they want the city to agree to do the parking areas. It is a relatively small area of parking. It would add to our future maintenance costs, but it wouldn't be substantial.
How long, when's the last time that was resurfaced?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I have.
Since then,
Since it
so
was
yeah.
widened, I don't think so.
So what about the manholes
that they were talking about?
Yes, so there are, between 15th and 13th Street, there's 3 manholes. I'm sure you guys have all driven over them, that our goal actually is hopefully tomorrow, we're going to partner with MoDOT to get those 3, begin to fix those 3. So this isn't necessarily in this agreement, but we've also had conversations with MoDOT on those manholes. Their positions were that the manhole, the sewer system is what caused the failure. Our position was that the manholes themselves are fine. It's the road around that has failed. And so we ultimately reached a compromise where we would do the work together. So they'll have maintenance crews out with our maintenance crews. They'll do the flagging and traffic control, and our guys will do the concrete work. So hopefully the manholes will be fixed here in the next few days.
So if the board did approve to take over the parking, what's the square footage and estimated price if we ever had to resurface that again?
Yeah, so we, based on the bids that we did this year, we may use a different type of asphalt for the downtown, just because of the amount of traffic it gets. 50,000 perhaps in today's dollars.
Okay.
Yeah, and hopefully this wouldn't need to be reworked for, 10 years. We would be responsible for doing crack sealing that would come up, painting the parking lines. And ultimately, while it's not specifically spelled out in this agreement, MoDOT has said that we would be allowed to decide the hours or type of parking allowed, or to regulate that parking as the board would see fit. Or leave it as is, but it would be an option for the board.
Matt, I don't know a great deal about asphalt, so if they come through later and resurface, and then we have to resurface the parking, is there a seam that weather will affect?
Yeah, so there would be a cold seam there, depending on who were to fix it first. There would be a seam there. We could crack seal that fairly quickly in-house. But yes, and in fact, if you drive down there right now and you look at it, you can kind of see that the drive lanes and the parking are slightly grayed out differently, and there is a seam that goes down the middle, so.
Well, our parking lanes really aren't too bad a shape, are they? Or are they busting up around the curbing, or?
No, so, that's part of it is good news, is that there's not a lot of base failures in the parking areas. There's not a lot of depressions. You can notice in parking lots, a lot of times where people park, it starts to get depressed. So, I believe it's probably in very good shape.
Yeah.
So when they do mill and overlay it, if the board approves the agreement and they were to mill and overlay it, it should last for a good number of years.
There's not really a lot of heavy traffic going along that parking lanes anyway, not like you going down through the middle of the road with bigger trucks and stuff. So,
Yeah, it's MoDOT's apparent position that they will not allow or continue to maintain parking on MoDOT right-of-way. So they're pretty adamant that they won't maintain it going forward unless the city agrees to do it.
Do we know in Grain Valley, because that's MoDOT, is it
So
the
parts
same
of,
thing?
yeah, so Grain Valley and Odessa downtown do have parking.
I'm so confused. How can they just be like, oh, well, we're not going to take care of our road? Like, how is that acceptable? Am I crazy? Or, like, I don't understand how this is happening. Like, I understand how they don't want to do the parking, but I don't, yeah, that is 2 questions.
So they're trying to make a deal. In a sense, they,
But they're literally saying, oh, well, we want to take care of our road. And we're supposed to be like, oh, no problem. Well, we got it. Like, that's literally
I think we're
what's
supposed to be
happening
like,
right now.
well, thank you for at least resurfacing it this last time. I think
But it's
is-
their road.
Yeah.
It's their literal responsibility. No?
But they're gonna continue to resurface that, just not the
But they're
park-
really, like,
Right,
not
the
unless
parking.
we agree to this.
Right.
Is what he basically
Okay.
said.
Well, they,
they kind of hold the cards, don't they?
yeah,
we're on a
they've,
short list right now, and they're saying, we'll come and do this right away because we know how much you want it. We're getting lots of phone calls probably from your citizens. If you want this done right away, we'll make a deal with you.
And if we don't make the deal, then you're just, whatever.
We're still on a list, it's just, we don't have a date.
yeah, I think that if the board does not want to approve this agreement, I would hope that we would still be on MoDOT's list for at least the drive lanes.
We hope.
Wow, that's so,
Yeah.
so wrong. Not you, that's just, I can't believe that's the thing. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would hope they would still do it, but they would not do the parking. They would leave the parking as is to continue to weather and,
So our options are take the deal and they do the parking one time and get us on faster, or don't, and we get nothing for that either. So might as well take it and get it done faster, right? Like,
Well, do we see any issues with, MoDOT has so many guidelines and things when we ask to do anything in our town, or any town? So let's say we did agree that we took over the parking, then if we needed to resurface it at any point, are there anything in the contract of rules of you have to notify them and,
yeah, so we would need to notify them, presumably get a right-of-way permit from them. I doubt they would,
Would
charge
charge
us
us?
for the permit. Their permits aren't that expensive, but yeah, we would have to alert them of the work to be done before we would, resurface it or just.
Permits.
well, I make a motion, we approve.
I second.
Oh, I move for first and second reading by title only of bill number 23-0 something, 22.
yeah. I need a second. Somebody.
second.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only of Bill Number 23-22. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a surfacing maintenance agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement. An ordinance approving a surfacing maintenance agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement.
I move for adoption of bill number 23-22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill Number 23-22. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer.
Yes.
Motion is approved, and Bill Number 23-22 becomes ordinance number 2081. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a bid for tow services for the City of Oak Grove. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. Before you tonight is the bid for the tow contract, which covers the towing of city vehicles, non-preference citizen tows, and any towing of vehicles related to arrests or incapacitated drivers. The bid was placed in May, or put in advertisement through Focus on Oak Grove on May 18th, and it ran through submission of bids on June 15th. Only one company submitted their bid, and that was Santa Fe Tow and Barry Philpott. We're comfortable with that. Santa Fe Tow actually picked up the contract in 2017 when the other company backed out. And then in 2018, they started the contract full-time for 1 year with 4-year renewal periods after, 4 one-year renewal periods after that, which brought us up to 2023. If you were to look at Barry's pricing as compared from 1 year to the next, it would be a big jump. But when you look at it, that it's been 5 years since he's done a rate increase, a single tow from $65 to $85 now is not that significant of a increase. And in fact, it's within standards or well below what a citizen would pay for any tow that they are provided by a service. Barry and Santa Fe Tow have been a big supporter of the city and our city functions, whether that be National Night Out or Shop with a Hero. They have been a big part in a lot of our agenda of what we've tried to do throughout each year that he's had the contract. I would be comfortable staying with Santa Fe, and so be happy to answer any questions, but seeking approval to sign the contract with Santa Fe Tow and Barry Philpott.
Thank you, Chief. the board have any questions?
I make a motion that we approve making a contract with Santa Fe Tow.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid with Santa Fe Tow. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Matt, do you have one?
Just one, Mayor. I'd like to thank park staff as well as the police department for their work on Friday night's Independence Day celebration. Sparks and Stripes was a really good event, great weather, and I just want to give kudos to the staff that was involved in that. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Mark?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Chief?
Nothing further, thank you.
Corey?
No report.
Kim?
No report.
Scott?
Just a couple things. This is the week of swim lessons in the evenings. We offer this once a year. Some people think that we don't ever do it, but we do try to offer it once a year. It's a common request for those families that can't get there early to get their kids for swim lessons. So I just want to let you know that's normal. And I do want to thank everybody as well for helping with the Sparks and Stripes. It was a perfect evening. The weather was, in fact, Mr. Sherwood was contacting me and giving me updates on the weather, and it held off and turned out to be a fantastic night. Police department did a fantastic job as always. Sny Valley, the Cub Pack, they helped with parking. The Troops 266, I believe, is their number. From the face painters to the balloon, animal balloons, to a hot air balloon, pyrotechnics, I was really happy with compared to last year. So overall, I think everyone was very excited for the show. Thank you.
Rachel?
No report.
Kelly?
I want to agree with everything that's been said. The fireworks and Sparks and Stripes, it was a fantastic event. I know we all had questions about it happening on July 7th, whether it was going to be busy or not, and it was packed. The fireworks were phenomenal. An amazing show, one of the best fireworks displays I've ever seen. And the water things were super cool, so do that again. Congratulations, it was awesome.
Nice. Jim?
No report.
Okay. Jeremy?
No report.
Tracy?
No report.
Pam?
No report.
I don't have a report either. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
I always feel so professional when I say so moved.
Throws me off.